The City of Hayes proposes roundabouts on North Vine Street.
And homework, is it helpful or just a hindrance?
These stories and more on this edition of Tribe News. The talk of roundabouts has been discussed for nearly 2 decades to help alleviate problem traffic on North Vine Street. Tribe News reporter Claire Shippy shares more on this story.
The City of Hayes has had many traffic problems north of town. The city staff and engineers have been working with KDOT to come up with a solution to these traffic issues. They decided on the proposition of putting in roundabouts to replace traffic signals. They believe that this will help improve traffic flow and decrease the number of accidents. There will be 3 different locations in Hayes containing roundabouts for an overall estimated cost of $6 million. I personally got to sit down with Kevin Zimmer, who works for KDOT, to get an inside scoop about the plans and some more background information about these roundabouts.
The roundabouts right now are actually just being designed, so there hasn't been a set date for these being built, but the projected time is actually probably around spring of 2020. And it's most likely going to last for around 2 years. With the size of this, it definitely can't be done in one summer. So the projection to complete these will be around probably the fall of 2021. The idea of the roundabouts actually wasn't any of our idea, quite frankly, but this area has been studied for probably a better part of 2 decades. And so the City of Hayes in the past has always reached out to engineering firms to look at the area to see what can be done to relieve congestion. And with this latest round, they again hired a consulting firm to come up with different ideas, alternatives, to come up with just solutions to this area, and the roundabouts was one of those solutions.
Kevin Zimmer explains how the community will adapt to the roundabouts based on how much experience a driver has had and their comfort level with them.
Quite honestly, I think some of them are going to like them, and there's going to be a lot of people that hate them initially. So I think a lot of that hinges on whether or not you've ever driven through a roundabout and just kind of your comfort level with them. Those people won't be so scared of them right away, but if you've never experienced one of these, it's definitely going to be a change. Okay, with these particular roundabouts, one of the biggest challenges that I project will be folks need to realize think ahead of time which lane they need to be in. These are kind of unique in that the fact that they are 2 lanes wide, and so before you get into the roundabout, definitely have to pay attention to the signs, pavement markings, and that sort of stuff, so you know which lane to be in. So the project is being funded by several different sources, but the biggest one actually is from the federal government. The City of Hayes applied for a grant from the Federal Highway Administration, and they were awarded it. So the bulk of it again is from the feds, and then the City of Hayes will be picking up the majority of the rest of the tab for that.
After hearing information from an expert, I decided to ask the students and staff of Hayes High what they think about these roundabouts.
I personally have not driven through roundabouts, but I've been in a car when my mom has had to drive our 37-foot trailer through one of them.
Coming from Manhattan, there's like 2 or 3 of them that you use all the time in Manhattan. So I've had a lot of experience with them.
I've been through some cities with roundabouts. I lived in Lawrence, which has a few roundabouts, so every time I go there, I have to drive through them.
I have had experience in different towns, and then when I was over in Europe, we got to experience it on a big bus.
I don't think they're going to help much. I think it's going to make it worse. The people in Hayes can barely navigate a 4-way stop, so I don't think it's going to help having a roundabout.
They're not bad once you get used to them. Like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of confusion starting out, but once people get used to them, like the big thing here though is like with college students coming in new every year, I can imagine there's going to be some problems in those areas to start anyway.
I kind of like them really. They are fairly simple once you get used to them. Just kind of use the right of way. If you're in the circle, you have the right of way. If not, you have to wait on those to go through. So once people get used to that, I think it'll go smoothly.
I'm in favor of them, but I also know that out here in Northwest Kansas, it's going to be a huge change because people aren't familiar with how they work. I've experienced it, I see how it works, and I'm okay with it.
The new roundabouts will be placed in 3 different locations, including 32nd, 37th and 41st Streets. The one that will be placed on 33rd and Vine Street will be in a peanut shaped, and the other two will be a traditional shape. According to the city data, an average of 31 accidents occur on this stretch of Vine Street every year. City commissioners agreed that the roundabouts will decrease traffic congestion and create a safer roadway environment. Local businesses around the area are concerned that they will lose business because of the limited access to parking because of these roundabouts. Soon the city of Hayes should stop seeing as many accidents as they have been seeing with these new roundabouts being put in. I'm Claire Shippy reporting from Tribe Broadcasting.
YouTube and Twitch are two of the most popular streaming platforms for online content. And little did we know, we have some content creators of our own here at Hayes High. Tribe Broadcasting reporter and comedic mastermind, yours truly, Derrick Aragon, has more on the story. Every teen expresses themselves differently, whether it's sports, music, art, or another extracurricular activity. Here at Hayes High, we have a few students expressing themselves via the internet. Dawson Armstrong, who live streams on twitch.tv, and Alicia Feyerherm, who posts regular on youtube.com. We had the opportunity to sit down with the both of them.
I usually stream Fortnite. Sometimes I play 2K with my friends from New Mexico because I have a couple friends on there. The thing about streaming is meeting different people online that'll just search like the Twitch streamer or whatever, and like they'll see me and they pull up and I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? We have a certain team called Mock. It's out of Virginia, I believe, and we have about 30 people on the team. And there's 3 teams. I'm on team 1, and we usually just play games all the time. The only downside is I really don't go upstairs to see my family a lot, which sometimes it's not bad, but that's really the only downside. Yeah, my parents really do like what I'm doing. They gifted me this beautiful desk here for Christmas that I asked for. Really everything else on here on this desk I paid for myself from working and streaming. School is a big thing, I got to get that before playing all the games, but I usually come home, play a few games, but I usually get my homework done, and then I got basketball, baseball soon. It's tough, but whenever I got free time, this is what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying it. I don't really care about the views and the money right now. It's just having fun and meeting people.
I have a wide variety of content that I put out. I don't really want to limit myself because even though there's a lot of tips that say that if you have a really specific niche, you'll do better on YouTube, I don't really want to box myself in, and I want to be able to create whatever I want to and not be worried about it being off-brand or not in my channel's niche. So I do challenges, random DIY videos, just really whatever I feel like it, and I make it work. I really enjoy just being part of the YouTube online community. I've made some friends through it, and it's just so much fun filming, especially with other people. I've had some different people come onto my channel and we just film videos together, and it's so much more fun filming with other people than filming by yourself. And I just get to learn so much more about YouTube and just how to create decent content and decent videos, and it's just something I enjoy. They support it. They have both told me that they never really thought I'd reach this point. They thought it would be something that just sort of fizzled out over the years, but 2.5 years later, I'm going strong, so. I don't really see myself stopping, at least anytime soon. There are websites that predict where your channel will be, and according to those, I've tested them myself just to see how accurate they are, and by the time I graduate high school, I should be at 10,000 subscribers, and within the next 5 years, I should reach about 42,000 subscribers. My ultimate goal would be to get 100,000 subscribers, because then I can get a silver play button from YouTube, and that would be so cool. And I don't really see myself stopping. I feel like going to college and vlogging and doing dorm tours and stuff would be fun, and even when I'm older, having a family channel or just keeping people posted with my life, that would just be really interesting.
As the internet continues to grow, we will surely see the interest and popularity of online entertainment go with it. Reporting for Tribe Broadcasting, this has been Derrick Aragon.
We have 2 new administrators leading the tribe this year, Mr. John Linn and Mr. Lance Krennewitter. Let's get to know them a little better with reporter Zoe Buffington.
We got the pleasure of interviewing the newest members of our Hayes High family, Mr. Linn and Mr. Krennewitter. We sat down and spoke with them about their goals and experience so far this year.
My name is John Linn. I am the assistant principal here at Hayes High School, 31st year in education. I have been a principal for the last 11 years. Two other schools. The last one I came from was a 5 through 8 middle school.
I'm Lance Krennewitter. I'm the assistant principal, athletic director at Hayes High School. This is my first year here. Previous to coming here, I was employed by USD 315, Colby Public Schools.
I was at Victoria for 11 years, and I always thought Hayes High was this huge, big school, you know, and interviewing here, getting the job here, it almost felt like home. The staff here has been tremendous. I've had nothing but great things to say about all of them. They've been very helpful, and just happy to be here.
When you move from a smaller school to a bigger school, you're always a little curious about the culture, about the students. Probably the biggest surprise is you go in with preconceived notions to a certain degree about a bigger school, but that has been completely, erased since I got here. The faculty and staff and the students at Hayes High, they're awesome. I mean, that's simply put.
We had a great time getting to know our wonderful new administration. Welcome to the Tribe. This has been Zoe Buffington reporting for Tribe Broadcasting.
Homework, the bane of not only my existence, but many others. Tribe Broadcasting reporter Camry Young visited with students and teachers about the positives and negatives of homework and how it may affect teens.
A typical high school student's schedule generally consists of school, work, time for family and friends, extracurricular activities, and on top of all that, homework. Sound familiar? Students across the nation average at a shocking 17.5 hours of homework per week. Studies show that this can have a huge impact of the mental health of young adults. Countries like Finland admit to assigning no homework, yet rank above the United States on a worldwide curricular scale. Finland's graduation rate stands at a high 93% compared to the United States' 75%. Even without other school-sponsored extracurriculars, the daily homework slog keeps students on the clock as long as lawyers, teachers, medical residents, truck drivers, and other overworked adults.
My whole GPS class, and then sometimes it's like 2 hours after school.
Generally speaking, it's about anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. Like if I have to work after school, I'm usually up till about 10 or 11 doing homework. Is it any wonder that our kids are suffering an epidemic of disengagement, anxiety, and depression?
I don't think homework should be banned just because it does help us learn the things that we're taught, but I think it might be helpful to some students that have a lot going on after school if it was like cut down a bit.
I don't think it should be completely banned, but I think it should be proportional to what other activities students are doing. While many agree that banning homework would be better for the overall health of students in America, Hayes High teacher Matt Brooks isn't completely against the idea, but argues that it would be unethical and probably impossible.
Banning homework, I'm not saying it would be an absolute horrible thing, but I'm not sure it's practical. Probably not possible. There are some classes that certainly demand a certain level of homework. In my class even, and I've greatly reduced how much I've done, but once in a while it's still needed. So banning homework probably is not as practical as one would think. I think lessening homework is definitely something the staff should do. Homework absolutely is going to reinforce what they've learned that day, or at least going to introduce the material the next class period. So the purpose of the homework could be to review or to introduce the material. Most of what I want is the students to come prepared for the class discussion, the next class period. But I also think that we need to understand as a staff to balance it out.
Similar to Mr. Brooks, Hayes High math teacher Dustin Dreyer believes homework is good practice and helps review for upcoming tests.
Personally, I don't necessarily think it'd be the best idea. I think that homework is one thing that strengthens student skills. You have to be taught it in class, and then you should have some class time to work on it, but I think also that extra practice outside of class is what strengthens those skills and really drives home the fact and the material to really learn it, not just try to memorize it for the next class. One of the reasons I assign homework, again, math, we have so much to get through the year, and we try to really teach advanced curriculum and advanced material to kids, and I think that homework just strengthens the knowledge and the content that is taught in class. I kind of compare it to sports, to whereas as an athlete you can go to every practice, but the best athletes, the kids that want to be the best and have the best drive, and the kids that are normally the most successful are the kids that are going to put the time in outside of practice, that extra time to develop skills and to strengthen the skills that they already have. So that's kind of a good analogy for homework, I think, that increases the skills and just drives home the fact of the material that they learned.
All in all, homework plays a huge part in a student's life and can sometimes be too much. Hopefully there will be a day when a student gets to go home and the only things they have to worry about is being a teenager and doing the things that they're involved in and enjoy. This is Camry Young for Tribe Broadcasting.
With little to no supervision of students during their lunchtime, Hayes High administration added a new rule which keeps the lunchrooms much more crowded, but the hallways quieter. With more on the story, Alicia Feyerherm.
Hayes High School's new lunchroom rule has stirred up quite the conversation these past few weeks. Hayes High School Principal Marty Straub and some faculty members share their thoughts on why the rule was implemented.
What we're asking students to do is be in one of two places, either in the classroom or with their teacher if they agree to allow them to eat in there, or in the lunchroom. Those are the two places that we have supervision, and that's the most common reason that we finally said, why are we allowing 6 classrooms that really border on the commons area be interrupted every day? Well, the answer was very simple, because we're not supervising kids. I don't have staff to supervise that area. We walk through that many times, but yeah, and we do have room in the lunchroom to accommodate all the students that go through during the rotation. So that is the new rule.
Since my classroom is close to the cafeteria, it was extremely loud. Once they were finished with lunch, they would come out and congregate. It was very loud.
I think kids have really done what we've asked them to do.
It's been awesome. I haven't had to step outside my room, and I can continue teaching and hear myself, so it's been great.
I have not had near the distractions in my classroom as I did last year.
As well as the administration and staff, students also have their opinions on the lunchroom rule controversy.
I still prefer the commons area, because then you get to stand around and talk to your friends.
I prefer the commons area for the same reason. I mean, I still get to talk to everyone, but it's way less crowded, and I like standing because throughout class you're always sitting, and if you're told to stay in the cafeteria, you're just sitting more. So I like the commons area.
It's got less seating for the people coming in to eat lunch. Just have people stand more towards the vending machines and not towards the hall.
As you can see, the new rule is not very popular among students. However, administration and staff believe it to be working quite well. For Tribe Broadcasting, I'm Alicia Feyerherm.
That wraps up this edition of Tribe News.
Check us out on YouTube and Twitter at Tribe Broadcasting. I'm Maddie Lohmeyer.
And I'm Derrick Aragon.
Thanks for watching.